We're looking at volume of rectangular prisms. And I've talked about what volume, rectangular, and prisms are already. So let's go ahead and go through the problem. A cube has an edge length of 12 meters. What is its volume in cubic meters? Now there's a couple different ways you can go about this. So first, let's think about if we have the exponent of a cube. Do you remember what the exponent of a cube looks like? That would be like that. This would be called x cubed. So you can use this idea when you're doing these problems. So it's some number. A cube is a perfect square. And I try to make this, all the sides are the same, where like if this were a cube, so in this case, it'd be a cube of 12. So the length and the width and the height are all matching. All right. So you would look at it as let me just go ahead and right. So you would look at it as thinking about the base, and then you'd find the area of the base and multiply it by the height. But in this case, since they're all the same, it's good to kind of practice that cube idea. So two ways of doing it, it would be 12 meters, and we'd use the m cubed, which is equal to 12 m times 12 m times 12 m, right? And we can find out 12 to the power of 3, 1728. So this is equal to 1728. And what is m times m times m? M times m times m is m cubed, or meters cubed. So this is kind of method number one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is to think about it in terms of, okay, let's just find out what the number answer is. 12 cubed is equal to, we found it, 1728. And then it's the idea of we're cubing the meters. So then, and they're also having that at the end. So we're not really too worried about the, I call it a label here. We can just put that at the end. And I know that a lot of times students get confused when you have the label floating around in here. So many times it's just easier to attack the numbers and then worry about the labels at the end or at a later time. So 1728 is the answer here. Okay. And they have that same idea of cubing it and meters cubed. Notice he left off the label or the meters as he did it, and he put it at the end. So that's a very common technique. Okay. The next one. Let's try a different style. Rectangular prism with length, width, and height. Okay. All right. A rectangular prism has a length of 15 inches, a height of 13 inches, and a width of 3 inches. What is its volume in cubic inches? All right. So notice the length is larger than the width. So keep reminding yourselves to keep track of length and width. It just kind of helps if we know how to label things properly. All right. So we have a width of 3, and I'm leaving off the label. A length of 15, and a height of 13. Okay. And I would encourage you to try to practice drawing these rectangular prisms. So when it comes to geometry, drawing the shape is part of it. And even though, you know, mine's looking a little bit wonky, just do your best. I think probably the best way would be to start off with like a square. and then to kind of do some lines, making sure that that's kind of that can make a straight line at the top. You want to have that kind of be the same distance as there, and then connect it. And then I'll usually just go ahead and do dash lines. Connecting it that way. All right, so just do your best trying to draw prisms, rectangular prisms. It gets easier over time, but even after 25 years of drawing these, mine still aren't very good. But I'm not an art student either, so I would encourage you just keep trying. Every little bit helps. All right, so the technique that we want to do with these rectangular prisms is, hopefully you recognize that all we're doing is we're multiplying all three of these numbers together, but I'd really like for you to get in the habit of looking at it as an area of the base times the height. Okay, so the area of this base is down here. So all of this down here is what we're trying to calculate. So that's the 13 times the 15, or 3 times 15, yep. Okay, 3 times 15 is 45. And then you want to think about it as filling it all in all the way up here. So that'd be times the height of 13. 13 times 45. Get used to using a calculator. Make sure you have one where you can get through this. 585. Also, do your best to kind of remember the label. So we got inches, inches, and inches. Inches times itself 3 times is inches cubed. All right, so 585 inches cubed, and they already have the label there, but it's good to keep that in mind. 585. Okay. Length times width times height. Doesn't really matter the order too much. Multiplication is commutative, so you don't have to worry about that. And like I said, I would recommend practicing thinking about it as finding the area of a base and then moving it up. Okay. So all the problems will be very similar to these.